Still there are 24 members. Let's wait for 1 2 minutes.
Afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Yeah, okay, good afternoon, everybody. Let's begin the class. So, today we are about to see the Unit 1 in Value Education, which is titled as Introduction to Ethics. So, what is ethics we have to study? And before that, what is value education and why value education is important and what is its importance? So, we have to study. So, what are values? So, we will have a set of values that will define our character, our attitude, okay, our behavior, everything will be dependent on our values. So together with a set of our values, which is known as a value system. So each and every individual will have their own value system. So it need not to be same, it will differ from person to person. So one person will have certain set of value system and another person will have certain set of value system. One person can justify the crime, one person cannot accept the crime. Like this we have a different set of values for each and every individual. So for example, in every situation, in every task, we will just consider the financial viability, whether the particular, when we are performing certain task, whether that particular task is financially viable, or that particular task is
అది కన్ఫర్మ్ కొట్టాలన్న కన్ఫర్మ్
number 44. Yeah, okay. Then when we are performing certain task, in every task we will just evaluate that particular task is whether it is financially viable or not, okay, financially acceptable or not, whether we are receiving certain profit or whether we are receiving certain loss, okay, whether we are receiving the profits or not, we will study this type of studies. But whereas when we look into the social impact, we need to balance in between whether that particular task is financially viable as well as it is creating certain social impact, positive aspect in our social life or not. In our society, it is showing certain positivity or not. So in the value education, you come to know how to balance, how to create a balance between financial viability of a task and together with a social impact. What is the social impact in just doing that particular task? Then finally, value education will inculcate all the habits, planning, teaching, sense, our friends, learning, term skills, and everything will be related to the value education so that we can have a meaningful and a successful life. Then in order to have a meaningful and successful life, we have to adopt various code of conduct. Like we should tell a truth, we should have a right conduct towards others, we should have a respect towards our elderly or respect towards others and everything. Then the peace, we should be in a peace. In every situation we should look after the peace first, then automatically love will come in our way. Then a non-violence will be which is responsible for a clear and harmonious society. So non-violence we should adopt in every way. So this is a brief about the value education. So the contents involved in your first unit is introduction to ethics. So what type of ethics? The type of ethics and everything we could study in the ethics. Then why value education is very important. Before this, we have to define what is value education. We just briefed about what is value education. Then we can go for why the value education is very important. Then the next topic is reasons to have ethics for life. What is ethics and how it is influential on a man, superman, or divinity, or inhuman, or a subhuman? How it is influential? That particular ethics, how it is influential, we have to know that. Then what are the accepted norms in our society? There is a clear code of conduct that is known as accepted norms. Okay, to these accepted norms there are certain counter values are also there. If somebody is believing some controversial topics like abortion, this type of abortion or infanticide, everything, somebody will justify that if mother has a life threat, we can go for the abortion or the infanticide. So somebody will say that abortions are not at all right. Okay, somebody will justify that thief. Okay, uh, only the person who is hunger he will steal. Like this, some person will justify the theft and everything. Some persons will not at all accept that one. So certain norms will be there. To the norms, something certain counter values will also be there. So in between these terms, we have to define what is our ethics. What is our ethics is saying personal ethics. So before that, we have to list out our accepted norms. What is acceptable for us? What is acceptable to our immediate society? Okay, what are the counter values, whether they are acceptable in our society, whether they are acceptable to us or not, we have to know that. Before that, we have to list out what are these things. Then the final topic is the dimensions of human development. So in the last class, we probably studied this Maslow's hierarchy theory. In this one, you clearly know we need a particular person who is developing in different stages. He will have a 5 different stages: psychological, physiological, esteem needs, self-actualization, everything he needs. So those are the needs. Okay, whenever a person meets certain needs, he will go to the next stage. Like that, for the holistic development, we have to adopt all the physical human development, physical dimensions toward the human development. Intellectual perspective we have to see, emotional perspective we have to see, moral, whether they are morally acceptable or not, we have to see, whether there is a spiritual link for that, we have to see, or simply that personal opinions we have to see, and whether they may creating a social angle, may have a social angle or not. That is nothing but is social dimensions. We have to see all this. We have to take confidence of this, all these dimensions before we just evaluate what is our ethics or what is our personal ethics. Then now we'll see what is the first, that's the first content, first topic. So what is value education? Uh, Previously, I just summarized what is value education, how it is important. So, okay. So value education is nothing but a means of a set of value systems. So then what is this value system? A set of value systems is nothing but a value education. But what is this value systems? So each of our actions, we have certain principles. Okay, every individual will have a certain principles which is acceptable to him or her. Okay, so they will have certain principles. So that principles will be shown in their action. So everybody's principle will be shown in their action. So each of our actions will reflect our beliefs. So whatever we are just acting upon, whatever we are performing tasks, how we are behaving, everything will be reflected because of our beliefs, attitudes, and customs. So based on this attitude, based on these beliefs, reflections, everything, we have a value system. We have our set of value systems. First of all, values are that whatever we are having, whatever our actions are based on, that is known as a values. Then a particular set of values. Okay, so value 1, value 2, value 3, value 4. If you summarize your values, it will be clubbed into a one single set, which is known as a value system. Then this value system, how it can be adopted in our value education? Whenever a person is having that value education, that value system, that value system will be enhanced, will be just crossed to fulfill our lives, to create our meaningful life. We should have a value clarification. Then what is this value clarification? Okay, value clarification is nothing but we have to learn how to question, what type of question we have to ask. Okay, then we have to sift. Sift is nothing but examine something thoroughly. Okay, SIFT, SIFT, this one. SIFT meaning is something to examine thoroughly. So we have to adopt our behavior in such a way that we should learn how to question. We should learn to sift. We should learn to examine that particular problem thoroughly. We should understand that particular problem to a passionate way. And finally, we have to decide what to do with our beliefs. What is our set of values? What is our beliefs? What are our values? What are our attitudes? What are our customs? So, okay, through this four what we call four dimensions only, we just frame our value system. So, first one is questioning. First, we have to question that particular value which is coming in our way is correct or not. Okay, we have to clarify. We can ask some resource person initially, oh, okay, you are suggesting this value. Is this correct? Is this correct? How spiritually it is correct, or it is practically it is correct? We should question him that you are specifying certain value. First, you should clarify that how it is correct. Okay, whether spiritually it is correct or whether it may be practically correct. Those resource person needs to be suggested. Before that, you need to ask question to him instead of blindly believing whatever they are taught. So you need to question them first. Okay, then you need to understand. You need to examine that particular task first. So after examining, you clearly understand what is going on, and then finally you can able to decide. Now in this stage, at this stage, you can able to decide what are our values. Okay, for ourselves, what are the values which we are required, what are the beliefs we have to believe. Okay, some person is saying something means we don't have to believe in a blindfoldedly. We can question them. Okay, in the lecture also you can question them. Why should we adopt this one? Okay, everything we should question them. We should first learn how to question. Okay, instead of asking some rubbish questions, we should learn first how to question first. Then questioning is a basic criteria in order to learn a systematic way. Then questioning, after that you should examine that particular answer which that resource person is giving to you. Then after analyzing that particular answer, then you can be in a stage to understand that one clearly. When you understood clearly, then you can finally decide whether it is suitable, that particular value is suitable to you, or particular value you have to leave them behind. So this is the value clarification you should have in your sense first. Then whenever we clarify our values, we may acquire a new set of values. Okay, value system is not at all static. Okay, it is a dynamic in nature. Okay, if one's value set suits you in certain age, okay, in the next level of your age it cannot be suit you in the next level of age. So it is a dynamic in nature. It will just vary from one stage to the another stage. Okay, then we acquire a new set of values and conviction and commitment to our values. Then, if you understand clearly, then only we should have a clear commitment towards our value. Then, as a result, we will have a fulfilled and meaningful life. So, our primary goal is to have a fulfilled and meaningful life. In order to have that fulfilled and meaningful lives, we need to have a value system, values first. Then we need to design a set of values called a value system. Then that value system is correct for us or not, to know that one, we should have a value clarification. So then what does the value education does not mean? So value education does not mean that particular value we should impose on somebody else, or we should create an indoctrination. So indoctrination, it is not a indoctrination. So we should not force someone to believe that a set of particular values are correct. So they should examine by themselves. So nor it is a futile exercise. Futile is nothing but pointless. Value education is not a pointless thing. Okay, it is having a clear goal. So value education in our syllabus is not a pointless or a aimless one. It is designed in order to just have a habit of value clarification, have a habit of developing a clear values and a clear value system. So that does not lead us to a thoughtful action. So in order to lead us to a thoughtful action, we should not impose our values on somebody else. We should not create an indoctrination attitude. We should not create an infantile exercise in order to have a meaningful and fulfilled life. Then, in contrary, the value education means to help and preserve all the good and worthwhile aspects of our culture and encourage us to question, explore, and understand our values, attitudes, and beliefs. So value education does not support the indoctrination, does not suppose the imposition of some values on others. It only preserves our good things which are related to our culture and encourages us to question in a systematic way and explore in a systematic way and understand those values. First, you need to understand that one. In order to understand that one, you need to question them. Then you need to explore different types of values which are relevant to us. Then we should be framing our clear value system. Then it will, this value system can broaden our outlook, so can broaden our understanding power, can enhance our understanding power. So it will adhere to our value system. It will help us to adhere to our value system, and at the same time it will create a behavior, our own behavior, that we should understand other value systems also. For example, your friend's value system need not to be the same with your value system. When you just summarize your value system and examine with value system of other persons, then you can clearly able to know what value system they are following, what am I following, what am I following is correct, is acceptable to the society, because we are in a society, we are not individuals, we are in a society, though we are living individually, but every action is based towards on our creation of a good and healthy society. So the friction will be possible, friction, we can quarrel with each other, everything will be possible. How this quarrels will come up? Whenever your values does not match with another set of values which are just followed by other person, then only some conflict will come, then only some friction will come. So in order to lower this friction or a conflict, we need to have a value system, value education in such a way that we need to understand others. We need to understand our clear value system first. Then we need to understand what the value systems other person is following, whether that value system is correct, whatever the values he is following or he or she is following is correct or not. Then we can able to clearly able to evaluate ourselves, and we can able to evaluate societal needs and everything. So then next topic is the ethics and reasons to study our ethics. So what is ethics? So ethics is nothing but our moral philosophy. For example, every individual will have their own set of moral philosophy. Okay, as I earlier said that somebody will justify the thief, somebody will justify the abortion, somebody will justify the war, somebody will not accept the war, somebody will not accept the infanticide, somebody will not accept the uh, thief and everything. Okay, whatever it may be there. So everybody will have their own moral philosophy and a code of conduct. On this only our ethics will be dependent. So for example, the code of conduct of a set of business. Okay, for example, in this educational business, in the Loyola Academy, you can say, so wearing a ID card here, here has a clear custom. We have a custom of following that everybody, including faculty, we have to wear a ID card. That is nothing but a code of conduct. Okay, for example, a recent situation, now we have to go for the invigilation duty. So when we are going for the invigilation duty, we have to adjust our classes, or we have to reschedule our classes to other another time, so another set of time. So this is the code of conduct that we should do the invigilation duty, and at the same time we should have a clear we should adjust our classes. So this is the code of conduct of this Loyola Academy. So that code of conduct, every system will have their individual code of system. So that particular code of system is acceptable to you or not. You have to examine that. So how do you examine that? With your ethics only, with your moral philosophy only, you will understand that particular code of conduct is acceptable or not. This ethics, this ethical behavior will show you the right direction or a wrong direction, whether that particular value is right or particular value is wrong. So using that ethics only, you can clearly able to differentiate between what is right, what is wrong. So popularly there are three types of ethics. So one is a meta ethics, second one is a normative ethics, then third one is applied ethics. So meta ethics. So how does this all three differs from each other? So meta ethics is somewhat towards the spiritual thing. So every ethical principle comes from, first of all, this meta ethics first in our conscience, in our own conscience, in our meta ethical stage. So we will just investigate where our ethical principles are coming from, what they mean to us. Everything we will question here. Are they merely social inventions? Do they have a individual emotions? Only they are merely the individual emotions or created for the societal benefits. Okay, whether we are accepting that blindfoldedly or not. So in this meta-ethical stages, we will investigate these things. So that particular principle is correct or not. Where that particular principle is coming. So what does that means to us? So are they merely social inventions, or they are the individual emotions? Okay, how they come from what situation they come from. In the meta-ethics stage, it will be analyzed. Then the answers from the meta-ethical stage is the focus on the issues of universal truth and the will of God and the role of reason in ethical judgments and the meaning of ethical terms themselves. So it is clearly a spiritual ethics. So spirituality, everything will be related towards the spirituality. Yes, this particular value is according to this type of ethics. From this situation, it has been erased. So in this meta-ethical stage, we will just examine, we will just investigate that where do it come from. Then the normative ethics. So it is a particularly a practical ethics, practical task. So normative means which we are following now. Okay, a modern man, he will just adopt all these ethical stages. So this normative ethics takes on a more practical task, which is to arrive at moral standards that regulate right and wrong conduct. Here, whether it is a right and wrong conduct, we will just examine that in a practical way, and we can clearly know that yes, it is practically acceptable. So this particular task or a particular value is correct, this particular value is wrong. So we could able to say that one. Here there is no practical approach, only some will of a God, some spirituality will be there. To the spiritual things, we can accept the whatever the norms coming on in our way. Here, but here in the normative ways, it is more practical. To the practical situation only, we can examine that particular task and we can frame that this is a moral standard which is right or which is wrong. Then this may involve articulating the good behavior, good habits that we should acquire, the duties that we should follow, or the consequence of behavior on the others. So, due to this is a practical nature of ethics. So, in order to have this practical nature of ethics, in examining everything will be classified under good or bad things. The duties which we should perform and the consequences of our actions on the others in our healthy society, whether it is leading to towards the healthy society or not. Everything will be evaluated in the normative ethics. Then the applied ethics. So applied ethics is clearly a more practical issues. So the controversial, the big controversial issues will be examined here in the applied ethics, like the controversial ethics like controversial issues like abortions, infanticide, animal rights, environmental concerns, homosexuality, capital punishment, or a nuclear war. For example, I already just mentioned you when there is a life threat for the a pregnant woman or the particular mother, okay, aborting or infanticide, having an infanticide of that kid is important according to some persons. Some persons, but some persons will look. It is wrong. It is a wrong behavior to abort a child. Some persons will look in that perspective. And for example, some person will look like animals will also have certain right. So animals are also a living being. Humans has to accept animals also a living being in our on our earth. So they will also have a right. But somebody thinks that all the animals except the human beings, all the animals has to serve for the human beings. Human beings are the superpowers. Okay, somebody will just have an attitude in such a way, then somebody will just show a concern towards our environment. So we should not pollute the environment. So nowadays the major concern which is facing by our world is the this pollution. So whatever the developing countries are there, they are using the fossil resources or the fossil resources or the conventional energy resources. Whatever the pollution which is coming from the conventional energy resources is spoiling everybody, not only to the developed countries, but developing countries or underdeveloped countries, everybody is getting spoiled by this pollution. So somebody will look the environmental concerns also. So homosexuality, for somebody homosexuality is correct, but somebody but the large group of members in our society, they will not accept the homosexuality. Then a capital punishment, somebody will looks like whatever the we should not judge a person whatever he did. Okay, whatever he did, we can award him the any type of punishment, but we cannot award the capital punishment. but this capital punishment is very much practicable in the Western countries. So how they are practicing? So everything will just apply, will just rise in the controversial issues will be evaluated in the applied ethics. Then the nuclear war. So every time if you see the North Korea is just threatening the America to have a nuclear war. So some persons will see that this is a threat, this is not acceptable. But some persons will see, yes, when America is pressurizing North Korea, they will have a nuclear war. So Pakistan is just pressurizing the India, we should have a nuclear war. So like this, these controversial topics, somebody will support this topic, somebody, a large part of groups will not support this. So everything will be evaluated in the applied ethical stages. So these are the three types of ethical stages. Through these ethical stages, we will come to know what is right and what is wrong. So everybody will have their set of ethics, will have their set of procedure in order to evaluate every possible situation coming towards them, every possible value towards coming towards them. So using that ethics only, we just frame our right or wrong behavior. That behavior only we will produce in our actions. Then what are the reasons to have ethics for life? So why should we have ethics for life? So whether ethics is important, that's what importance. So or just we can go just like that. So accepted norms are the common code for everyone in this world. So whatever the accepted norms are there, like certain procedures, certain spiritual procedures, everything we will accept. As such, we will accept them. We cannot question. We will not question them. Many a times we will have a habit of whatever our mothers and mother or father, everything they are saying spiritually, we'll just accept. That is called accepted norms. So that is a code of conduct. In every our day-to-day life task, we will apply our accepted norms. We will neglect our counter values. Then, in the accepted norms of the code of conduct or a common code for everyone in this world. So the conscience, the individual, every individual will have a consciousness, self-consciousness. That is called a conscience. Conscience, which refers to accepted norms, must be heard first. Okay, first we have to just have a consciousness on every situation. Yes, our conscience will guide through a wrong and right or wrong, whether the particular accepted norm is right or not. First, we should hear our conscience first. Then the change of attitude is fundamental for a person's conviction on anything in his or her life. So change of attitude is common. For example, I already said you a particular value system is suitable for in one state cannot be suitable in another state. It need not be the same in other state. You can change. Your attitude will change continuously. It need not to be a static. It will be a dynamic in nature. That attitudinal change. How does that attitudinal change will take place? Attitudinal change takes place within the heart of a person. Okay, it will take place secretly within the heart of a person. We will decide that yes, that particular value I used to follow in my first class or in my second class or in my intermediate is not now acceptable. Like that, you will have a clear attitudinal change. It cannot be achieved by coercion. Coercion is nothing but a compulsion. We need not to compel them. It will happen automatically. Our attitudinal change will happen automatically. Here, ethical reflections alone can contribute to this attitudinal change. So ethical reflection. So what does this ethical reflection means? Everybody will have a ethics. So that ethical reflection. Now we have to apply our ethics. That particular norm is acceptable to us or not. Then here a clear role of ethical reflection comes. Whether that particular attitudinal change, our attitude is changing from one stage to other. So whether that particular attitude change is acceptable or not, how can we know that? Through the ethical reflections. We have to apply our ethics there. Okay, we are applying our ethics here. So our attitude is changing in this direction. So it is acceptable or not, we come to know using our ethics only. Then when ethical reflections are bought in by people, so many people will complain that okay, your attitude has been changing or a particular person has changed their attitude and everything. Then the prominence, then the prominence is given to human person and not to anything else. First we have to look for ourselves, then we have to look for our immediate society, then we have to look for the overall goal. Like this, first we have to give importance to the people needs, then the prominence automatically will tell us whether the particular norm is acceptable, it is a clearly in a positive direction or clearly it in a negative direction, we can come to know. then any other considerations like academic or non-academic is not fully acceptable. First, we have to see in a humanistic way. Then only everything will be comes under consideration. Like we need not to go for the academic or non-academic things. First, our consciousness will guide us whether that particular attitudinal change is correct or not. Then the ethics for the humans. What does it means? The ethics for the humans, for the inhumans, for the subhumans, or for the evil, or the non-humans we will call. So how does that it will change for the humans, non-humans, and everything? So ethics for the humans. Ethics is discovered only in the human plane. Okay, in the superhuman planes, there is no ethics. Why? Because they are all divine things. So we accepted a belief that so divine means it is only goodness. The divine things all are composed of only goodness. So ethics is the only discovered in the human plane. So superhumans doesn't have any ethical reflections. So everything will be a divine and only goodness is involved. So there is no talk of ethics in the superhumans or the goodness or the divine things. So there is no evil in there, and there is no ethics is the study of the good and bad. So since good ethics is the study of only good and bad, wrong and right. So in the superhuman plane or in a divine things, there is only 100% good is involved. We accepted that now. So when we accepted that 100% good means there is no evil thing. So superhumans cannot have a ethical things. Then the subhuman plane. Then the subhuman planes like we'll call this animals, comprises of these animals, birds, and everything like plants, matter, whatever the matter apart from this human beings are there. So they need not concerned about the ethical dimension. So they don't have a ethical dimension. So they cannot understand what is ethics, what is they do not understand what is wrong, what is right. So ethics is also not a cup of plate for these subhumans like animals, birds, fish, plants, and everything. They are not a cup of tea of this. Ethics is not a cup of tea for this non-human, subhuman things. So for this non-subhumans, there is no question of reflection or awareness. So then next is the level of inhuman, nothing but the evil things. So inhuman things. So in inhuman level, in which only the bad and evil exist, does not have any goodness. So inhuman, we already believed that so superhumans are nothing but a divinity. Divinity is 100% goodness. So evility or whatever we call the evil person or a inhuman person, is 100% is concerned about this bad things. So this is 100% good, this is 100% bad. So whoever is having a 100% good and 100% bad, they don't have a ethical dimension. They did not to bother about the ethical dimension. So here inhumans will not have a ethical dimension, superhumans will not have a ethical dimension, and subhumans will not have a ethical dimension. So the ethics is the cup of tea only for this humans. So therefore, therefore, the ethics is for human beings to face human problems and to find human solutions and grow into full persons. So, ethics is only for the human beings. Can you please put your mics on silent mode?
English చెప్పనా చెప్తాను
Yeah, we are seeing this one. So whatever the superhumans are there, whatever inhumans are there, whatever the subhumans are there, so ethics is not for them. Ethics is only for the human plane. So ethics is for human being to face human problems and to find human solutions and to grow into a full person. So whatever the ethics are there, only concerned about the human things. Then the ethics, it is a way of happiness. How it is a way of happiness? We have a lot of freedom. Then we also have a friction, because we are, though we are individual, we are the creatures individually living, but we are living together with a society to in order to have a harmonious, in order to have a healthy society. So we need to lower the friction. So we already have a freedom, lot of freedom. So freedom, what does that mean? Whatever we are doing, whether it may be a Independence Day, just simply a Independence Day, or whatever we are doing is just adjustable in the freedom. So not. So whatever we are doing, it cannot create a hardship to the others. Then only we can say that our actions are full of freedom. So it does not mean that Independence Day is just a freedom. So freedom is that thing. So whatever the actions which we are doing, it cannot create a trouble to the some other persons which is living in a harmonious society. So whom they are living with the harmonious society. So man lives, he or she lives with others. So life on earth needs a path. So here, so human being, everybody will have a path. So based on that path only, we can define that our path is correct, our path is wrong, or our path is correct or not. So human beings or a man, he or she will live in our harmonious society. Everybody needs a path. So that parts can be chosen by the freedom. So nothing but in a free form. So path to be a chosen freely. While living or moving with others, friction may arise. So we are living in a harmonious society. So we are living in a cosmopolitan society. Nowadays, Hyderabad and everything is a cosmopolitan society. Different set of peoples will live here. Different faith people will live here. Okay, different religious people, different caste people, everything will live here. So we need to choose a path such a way that it should have a freedom. So while living or moving with others, we will have a friction. Friction will arise or a quarrel will arise. How that will quarrel will arise? When certain set of beliefs are contrary to the set of beliefs followed by others. Then only the conflict will arise. So we need to first adopt in our behavior that yes, certain other beliefs, whatever the beliefs I am following, rather than this one, certain other beliefs will also exist. First, we have to accept that now. So in order to choose a way in freedom and avoid friction, consistent identification and clarification are necessary. So we have to identify first what are other set of value system exist. So then whenever we are identifying certain other set of value systems, then we can take a clarification. This is called a value clarification that is necessary for us. So as happiness is a goal of life, nothing should hinder it. So it should not hinder that happiness is our main goal of life. So whenever we are just identifying certain set of values and clarifying at the same time, then we should have a meaningful life with a happiness as a life goal. So this is regarding this ethics, a way of happiness. So in this context, any human problem can be solved by analyzing the case through various tools such as historical, social, emotional, psychological, physiological, spiritual, anything. Okay, all these tools will be involved in order to solve the human problems. And a solution may be possibly we can found a solution when we just holistically apply all these tools: historical, social, emotional, psychological, physiological, spiritual, every possible angle we have to just see upon. So one will not be able to understand if he or she takes just only one dimension. Okay, we have to take all these dimensions. Okay, only verifying the single dimension is not enough in order to have a fulfilling life. We have to understand all the angles of a possible problem. Then only we can clear cutly say that yes, this is a human solution for the human problem. Then the solution invariably will bring happiness to the entire humanity by means of accepted norms. Then if you verify that one, if you identify the other values also, then you can just inculcate the habit of having that particular good value into your system. Then whenever you adopt that particular value in your system, then it will lead to a happiness. So not only the happiness to you, for the entire humanity it will create a happiness. For such solution, there is a need for ethical reflection. Here, the ethics play a clear role in creating a happiness in our lives by evaluating the habits of freedom versus friction. First, we have to just identify what is freedom. Just differentiate what is freedom from the friction. Then the problem is solved. Then we can have a clear identification of how the friction will come. So we can just lower the possibility of a friction. Then it will lead to a happy and harmonious society. Then the next one is ethics. Ethics as a education for life. So how why we have to study the ethics? It will create a education for life or not. So we it will create a education for life. For that only we have to study about the ethics. Then education and critical thinking. helps to evaluate various dimensions of the problem. So what are these various dimensions of the problem? Economic. So how that particular problem has arisen, whether due to only single economic problem it has been arisen, or the health issue is there, or some political issue is there, or some religious issue is there, we have to identify the problem at the grassroots of that problem, like whether it may be economical, health, or political, religious, every possible dimension of the problem needs to be evaluated. So while facing a problem, in order to study it, one gets facts and truth about it. So studying is nothing but or probing. So in a court only doesn't probe. So we as an individual also, whenever we are getting some values in our system, we will have a habit of probing that one. Probing is nothing but critical thinking, or we will just find a fact and truths in that one. So the person who probes it desires to know the various dimensions of the problem. So these are the dimensions. Through these dimensions only we can probe to the problems. Then relating these dimensions to life. So how can we relate these dimensions to the life? Through all using all these tools, we will relate to the particular situation, and to our life we will relate. So he or she makes an effort to discover the root cause or the grassroots. We can go to the grassroots of that particular problem, and we can identify the root cause of that problem, then identified by the critical awareness of the person. So that critical thinking attitude makes to go through the problem grassroots. Then from this grassroots only, we can just identify the problem, the root cause of the problem, whatever the situation may be, whether we can just summarize in a way that it can be economical or a health or political or a religious problem. Then all these things can be evaluated through our critical awareness. First we need to be aware of that particular problem exists. For example, everything, whenever problem is coming towards your way, you should be aware first. You should accept that yes, problem is there. Then only you can able to evaluate that one. Then only you can probe into that one. So how this problem comes, what is the source of this problem, what is the root of this problem. So everything will comes like this. So in this process, the ethical reflection comes at the last stage. Then after identifying the problem, if you see, this is a funnel effect. So popularly, this is a theory. This is called a funnel effect. For example, if you see the open question, for example, if you see the lawyer asking a question, first he will ask what is your name or where did you come from. So single question. Then you can he can able to know that yes, that particular person is from a certain background. Then the next one is the funnel problem. As we go down, the cone will just decrease its dimension. Its diameter will be decreased. Same way, the probing questions will rise here, but the depth of the answer will be to a sure point. Then he can directly go to the gross root of the particular problem. Then the closed question. What are the closed questions? Okay, yeah. In the probing question, you can identify that particular has a problem has been arrived from the particular source. Then after that, closed questions. Closed question means you can see yes, this problem has come from this one. So the sure point questions, one or three questions, two or three questions, we can just apply there. You can see clearly this all types of cone effect in the codes, in the code complexes. Then the ethics is the education for true and genuine human life. So we should have ethics so that our life will be true and genuine. Then next one, the ethics, a basic need for man and woman. So everybody needs a ethics. So how does this ethics will have as a basic need for man and woman? Just 1 minute. So whatever we are studying about the ethics, so our ethics will help us to just differentiate what is good from what is bad. So this, when we are creating what is good from what is bad, or what is good and what is wrong, then we will consciously we will frame what is accepted norm, what is counter values. Then they are operative in every human society. So these counter values or the accepted norms are the operative in the human society. Then a sense of direction has been also been given under different circumstances. So we will have a sense of understanding, sense of direction. So whether we are going in the right path or whether we are going in the wrong path. So we can identify that particular through ethics only we can identify our particular problem. Then ethics reflection based on the human centric approach is looking at problems and possible solution for them is a basic need for humans. So ethical reflection, okay, like a controversial topic, okay, somebody is stealing something means, so is it justifiable? So we need to have empathy is nothing but to understand the minds of other people. We need to understand the concerns of other people also. We should have experimentation attitude. First we need to experiment that, yes, if I am there in that situation, whether it is I will do the same thing or I will do a different thing. First when you just step in into their what we call into their life, then only we can know that okay, that particular problem has been come. So when we are there into that problem, what we have to do, then we need to understand, we need to sympathize with other person. We need to have a empathical character. So empathy is nothing but identify or understand the minds of other people. Then we have to do a ideation. Okay, then in this manner we can just have a ethical reflection. So ethical reflection will create a meaningful life. How it will create a meaningful life? It will have a human centric approach. So if you see this diagram, human is center of all this experimentation, empathy and ideation same. So okay, when you just step into another's life, somebody's life, okay, if you just analyze this particular situation, then you can have empathy. Okay, yes, that particular situation has been arise from that particular way. Then you should have an enlightening way. Yes, yeah, some idea will enlighten you. Yes, you can able to you can able to analyze that particular problem. So ethical reflection is a basic need for everybody. So it is only a cup of plate for this cup of tea for this humans only. Then the ethics, a way for harmonious human society or a healthy human society or a harmonious human society. Yes, we are living in the society which are different society. We have a single society with different beliefs and different values. So we are living in that type of society, cosmopolitan society, we can say. So we are, since we are living in that society, we can have a many spirituals, many things in and around us. So in order to live in a harmony with every human being, we need to have a ethics. Then the prehistorical stages, before man started a regular and settled life. Now we settled and we started a regular life. Okay, everything is there. In the prehistorical stage, in long back ago, there were no set of rules and regulations. Okay, now we have, for every problem we have a, for every society we have certain set of rules. But initially when the prehistorical stage, good olden days, they don't have any rules and regulation. However, when a man started moving towards a more civilized society, now we are living in a civilized society or a civilized world. Religious beliefs had great impact on her, him or her. So if you see, during the initial stage in the good olden days, there are only spiritual leaders out there. Okay, we are not in that much civilized society. So spiritual leaders used to guide us in a righteous path or a wrong path. Anything, whatever they feels us in a spiritual way, they used to guide us. So it will have an impact on every human being those days. Then the religious began to prescribe do's and don'ts, set of perceptions for the followers who are following a particular set of religion. So that religion will set a do's and don'ts. Using that do's and don'ts only, we just adjust our lives. We used to follow. They used to follow our in the prehistorical state. Whatever the persons, whoever they are living, they used to follow those things. Then man used to have a fear of God. Those time they used to have a fear of God. So they began to practice what is good, accepted by religion, society groups, etc. Whatever is acceptable by that particular religion or a particular society or a particular group of person, they used to practice the same things which the spiritual leader has been guided. But today we are living in a civilized society, more civilized society. Okay, there are two spheres for life in this civilized world. One is a materialistic and other one is a spiritualistic. So material society is there and spiritual society is there. So material compresses all we can see, touch and enjoy, but they are not permanent. Okay, according to the human belief, all the material things are nothing but which we are using now, which we touch, like this table, like our laptop, everything is a materialistic thing, but they are not at all permanent. We humans ourselves is not a permanent thing. Then there is a spiritual concern also. Then there is a spiritual sphere also. The spiritual the spiritual is concerned more about the God and the other world. Okay, whenever we are considering a spiritual, we should look for others also. So spiritual is more about concerned about the God. Is that it has been understood and accepted that the material is meant for the common man. So every time when we see our civilized society, we consider the materialistic world is for only for the common man, but the spiritual is only for the priest or the some sannyasis. Everything, the spiritual society is only meant for these people, sannyasis or priest, whereas this materialistic world is meant for the common humans like us. So today the mature person, whoever the mature person is there, they will combine this more practical things. Like he will consider the materialistic world also, he will consider the spiritual sphere also. So together this encyclopedia, he will develop its own encyclopedia through the mature things. Since today's man is a more mature person, so this mature person will inculcate a habit of imbibing the materialistic as well as the spiritual things in their world. Then in our present age, the human society is threatened by. So we need to have a recognition. We need to have a realization. In order to have this recognition and realization, what we are doing now, we are corrupting our system. So like we are having a nepotizing society. We are adopting a favoritism. We are having the exploitation of every person. Every person is exploiting somebody else. Every person is exploiting our natural resources. So every human being is exploiting our animals, everything, natural resources, everything we are exploiting and consuming them at alarming rates. We are consuming them. So in order to get this recognition and realization, we are adopting this type of threats like corruption, nepotism, favoritism, exploitation, consumption. But we also have many values which can also lead to this recognition and realization, like the values like justice. We need to have a justice. First we need to understand the problem. We need not to be a short judgmental, but we can have some type of a sort of a judgment that yes, this is right, this is good. So we need to have a justice. We need to have a cooperation. We need to lower the friction. We need to lower the conflict between among ourselves. We need to have a cooperation. We need to cooperate with somebody else with whom we are living. We need to have a cooperation with our society. We should be united. We are having a different religious, different caste system, okay, different types of ethnicity, everything we have. But what is the problem? We are lack of unity first. So we should have a unity, then solidarity. So first we need to show yes, we are united. Then we need to have our beliefs are very solid and everything. So these are all the values. Instead of avoiding a modern man, instead of adopting these values, these core values like justice, cooperation, unity, solidarity. So he is just adopting these threats like corruption, nepotism, favoritism, exploitation, consumption in order to get a recognition and realization. So we need not to go for these threats. We can just have these values and we can gain this recognition and realization in our life. So accepted norms and counter values. We will see this one. What is accepted norms and counter values? So we are, as we know that we are living in a harmonious society. We are living in a cosmopolitan society. We have a different types of persons. We have a different types of caste, different types of religion. Everything we have. So society, religion, laws of a nation. So many nations are there. Around 300, 125 to I don't remember exactly. 200 countries or 250 countries are there. So many countries are there, many nations are there, many flags are there. So we have a set of laws for each nation. We have a societal laws, we have a religious laws. Many actions of human beings as accepted norms. All these societal laws, who are living in this society, who are practicing the particular religion, who are practicing the particular religion and who are practicing the laws of the particular nation will have a set of actions which are based on upon these laws set by the society, religion and laws. Then honestly concerns for others, love for one's parents are examples for accepted norm. Like the examples like we have a concern for others, we have to take we have to look for other values also. So we have to look for others also. then we have to take advice, we have to show some love for our parents. These are the set of norms which we already accepted, which are also good, which we consider also a good thing for us also. So they are considered a good values. Then every society has a set of accepted norms. So every society will have a set of accepted norms. The submissive role and subordinate status of the women are the two of the accepted norms in the villages. So these are the bad behaviors. So like see, women are less compared to the men. So these are the subordinate status. We used to give a subordinate status to the woman, especially in the villages. So this type of attitude will be there. So submissive role and the subordinate status, which we are giving to the women in the they are practiced in the villages. They are also a accepted norms. Women has accepted like that in the villages, but whether they are acceptable or not, so our ethics will guide towards that one. Are they ethically acceptable or not? So our ethics will play a major role here. So we are seeing like that a submissive role as a subordinate. We are giving a subordinate status to the woman. So whether it is acceptable or not, it will be guided by the ethics only. Are they good? Here one has to use one's reasons and one's true religious faith to sift. Sift is nothing but a technique to just critically analyze a situation and find the good values. So that particular accepted norms. So accepted norms like love for parents or concern for others, these are accepted norms. We can directly accept those. So these are considered as a good values. But there are many bad values like a subordinate role, subordinate status, or a submissive role, which we are giving to the woman. Women in especially accepted in the villages. Village people will say yes, these are acceptable. Our man will treat us like that only. So what to do? We are accepting that one, but our conscience, our ethics will guide us whether it is correct or not. Then we should apply a technique. We should swiftly analyze that one. Then only we can know that yes, this is accepted, but this is not at all acceptable now. So then only we can clearly know that already accepted, it need not to be accepted for the rest of the life. So we can break any time that accepted norm. So that is called, these bad values can be breaked, accepted, can be breaked at any point in time. Then what are the counter values? So counter values like murder or rape is condemned by everyone of us as a crime, sin, and inhuman act. Whenever there is a murder or a rape, everybody will say yes, it is a crime, it is a sin, it is an inhuman act, it should be punishable act. Okay, you should be punished, he should be hanged until death, you should be given a captivating punishment. Everything, everybody will say. On the other hand, bribes or the many people will accept bribes, shortcuts, and backdoor entry to the jobs, and adulteration of the food and medicines, adulteration. Everything will be there, but we used to accept them. But they are bad behaviors. But they are counter values. They are considered as a counter values. So we consider this bribe, shortcuts, backdoor, or less crime and less sin or less human act compared to this murder and rapes. Whereas this is also a counter value. And those any values that does not promote human growth or human dignity is a counter value or a negative value. So it will consider as a negative value. Whatever rather than it is um, adding a dignity, adding a growth to the human life, it is deteriorating the human life, means it is called a counter value. Whatever the acceptable norms, which is adding a growth, it is adding a dignity to the human life, is known as a acceptable. So these two types of norms are there. So we have to everybody just can list out what are the accepted norms, what are not acceptable to them. So these are the clear unit 1 half of the part has been completed. If you have any doubts, you can ask me anytime through the WhatsApp or through this classroom also. So if you don't have any doubts, I can just wind up. Any doubts? Who is the CR and ACR?
Sir, me and Neha.
Number 19.
Yes, sir.
Her number, Neha number?
48.
48. Okay, do you have any doubts?
No, sir.
Yeah, just ask your colleagues also. Just whether they have any doubts, they can contact me through WhatsApp also.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Thank you,
Bye,
sir.
sir.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Bye.